endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror,
No
the
more
subduer from the
you
shadow clan. I prostrate, pay homage to the Holy Church, to the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully perfected being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, lord of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the shadow clan, I prostrate, make homage and offer refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, lord of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings for you of refuge. When no supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pass out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then I prostrate, with pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame their places in the three worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate, with the supreme science face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate, dust free like you, the three worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate, the Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit and qualities like vast ocean, to you the one gone justice, I prostrate, the purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime reality, to the dark that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated ever also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the four precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all three every devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bound with bodies as many as all realms, atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the four faults and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. To page 15 for the Heart of Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the unapproachable shape. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on massive altars mounted in Kalpakaya, together with the great community of monks and the great community of bodhisattvas. At that time the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration of the magnificent phenomena called profound perfection. Also at that time the Bodhisattva Manasa Pahara Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, and beheld those 5 aggregates also as beautiful in their very nature. Then through the power of Buddha, the venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Manasa Pahara Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of a village train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Manasa Pahara Avalokiteshvara said this to the venerable Shariputra. Therefore, train any son of a village or mortal living who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon 5 tests of correction and repeatedly behold in those 5 aggregates also as the beautiful in their nature. For this activity emptiness is full, emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition, factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition, factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object
There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging of death and no extinction of aging of death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and harm. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. To page 25 for the short mandala. Sashi Poge Chukshik Me Toktra Virali Jini Gambadi Sange Shindu Mite Vernanda Chenla Chupa Shu Jetsa Lama Dhamma Kenanje Juve Vala Genze Dundine Jeda Sampe Duje Sange Chuje Chava Abdus Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniriyatayami Sanje Judan Soji Judan La Janjo Bada Dane Jas Dage Jujin Jibe Sonam Ye Dola Venje Sanje Sanje Judan Soji Judan La Janjo Bada Dane Jasum Che Dage Jujin Jibe Lola Venje Sanje Dobara Sho Sanje Judan Soji Chanjo Bada Dane Jasum Che Dage Jujin Jibe Sonam Che Lola Venje Sanje Dobara Sho Kange Dese Nyese Tawa Danje Pame Chile Tame Shine Dense Kodam De La Chazen La Donye Nye Sone Jobe La Chije Sense Kanche Dendro Chanave Mo Dense Jason La Sowa Dese Shende Dendro Sho Pande Zeve La Maram Mashi Age Jigro Bende De June Kone Chime Kone Jason De Koson Tuje Mudu Zedo So Hai Dan Zo Kulon Kumji Jabro Ta Kulon Di Ini Simba Chanju Sim Ta Anzo Danda Lam Community Chanju Sim Da Lam Sum Tumu Lam Nani Chanju Sim Zoji Shigyora
Yes.
Jazan Chanju Sim Sayadi Simji Shin Simji Tamje Chidu Rani Zoba Sanji Gomba Top Na Sayadi Top Juji Sambe Samba Dreva Tadi Tandani Sim Yoma Anzo Gula Chanju Sim Tejan Ani Gulun Jeje Tangi Nima Terene Simji Shinji Simji Shin Tamje Lupimbe Sanji Gomba Tobashi Dijula Ani Sanji Sanji Gomba Lamsa Hamagona Tadu Digirwa Aran Sama Chazan Tadu Digi Tobachi Ani Tadu Digi Tobade Ani Jilla Simji Shin Lapa Kwasha Jafu His Chazan Ye Tadu Digi Toyade Simji Digi Tuyadan Tunghe Sachi Digins Tie Chidu Ani Chanjuk Sim Tokwa Juli Jagudu Tokwa Juli Jawala Shegudu Shevala Tugudu
예, 드링 재산디 퇴야디 딘데지기 체디네 퇴고요 삼배 꾸노 야고직 셋업 쇼스로
First, we should assume the correct motivation, which is one of bodhicitta. Essentially, it is a valid path, and it is the main path. It is the main path we are striving. So that is the thought, to establish all sentient beings in the state of complete and perfect Buddhahood, although we might not yet have that bodhicitta, but we can motivate, we can intend that to benefit sentient beings, we will place them in that state of Buddhahood. If one is to ask, what is that state of Buddhahood? It is final bliss. The final bliss, to place them in that state. But in order to do that, oneself has to reach that state first, and then one is in a position to remove sentient beings' suffering and place them in that state of bliss. In order to do that, however, one has to develop insights, realizations. In order to do that, one has to know. In order to do that, one has to listen and hear. So think then, one is going to listen with that good motivation, bodhicitta.
아야 다 가와곰로 그러면서 드링 이네 딘데 최치기 중화디 개바상고인 선도
Rejoice that today we have the opportunity to hear the Dharma, is fortunate.
야, 다, 저, 비지, 간딜 하지디.
No.
마직 되나, 초신, 갑디 단다, 초신 세다 봤어야 되다. 디, 상상라인데, 양지, 나랑도 담이 세단다, 그냥서 디, 니, 최초의 균이 라마 정가원에 마, 주베스, 인산디, 단, 대외기, 냠니, 소바다비아당, 딕바샤야당, 초바푸야딘데, 요 인산디, 대단 데니 상상라, 니, 디 단다 디네 마직, 지도나, 저랑서야, 지메, 수수 나라 파도, 네, tuju chungju sangsang la chöpa dinde pu di nimdi kandela je ma de kom gyap chigi na di yawo yore chedan tandang zo chosin se da ba sa de cheje en tin ma yin la dunju ko ne so sa de jan che de ji do in das ro
Madam. Now we will do the practice of Lamsam Kapar Guru Yoga. So that means beseeching or visualizing the merit field. We do this because the teachings we're receiving, a lot of it comes from an unbroken stream through the Master Lama Tsongkhapa. So we engage in that practice by firstly beseeching the merit field and then making offerings, doing purifications and so forth. And this is useful because you might find that when you go back to your homes, you may want to do meditation practices and so forth. So to do these offerings and recitations is very good by means of the 7 limbs, which has within it all of the accumulations and purifications.
en danda de thaja kan la nyingi zo da kunzo di yuna kandela je yuna en su den ro
Yeah.
en me na da thiring me na ne thiring den de sanyi ne shi je ngzo dine ne chuna zo gobi le na digra ro
Larela. So those that are listening online, if you have a copy of this practice, you can recite together. If not, get hold of one and we'll do it tomorrow.
다 단다 디 곰 가르자고 나는 곰 만나서 다 간디 이거 준진지 아니 탁신로 딜래야 아니 계섭 참고 공부 제가 계섭 참고 공부디 뭐마 다자도 마셔줘도 아니 간디 이거 준진라 최송제 최고 제부 차고 요러 한 다자도 마셔줘도 뭐 잠불링나 다들 태과 첨부기 다자도 마셔줘도 루주세다래로
Yeah, yeah.
아니 뭐마 간디가 주진라 다자도 마셔줘도 그 최송 아니 지진 참바 공부 뒤뒤 최년예로
Yes, yes.
안데네 다자도 마셔줘도 잠불링라다 중국어 마피고 요인자 아니 디기 제외 잡라 아니 왕군이 지진 참바 공부디 아니 제외 제접로 왕고 그랬어 제접스 제단 제접 참바 공부시기도 디기 지진 참바 공부 투가네 마 아니 वेसे टिम्बकरबोस ठुगाने मा टिम्बकरबोस दे थालाने जेबसे सुमदाना जो दे गुन्डा यावसे रो गु जेरो 안데 집에 공어요 네 뒤에 천배 저 타고디 조지 겨세단 저 예테 알람산 찍다니 인고 말들레 딘데지 메와체네 딘데지 예 텐두나 네 야고 요르스로
Madam. This practice of yoga relates to the Tushita Pure Land, where the regent Maitreya Buddha resides. Regent because previously Shakyamuni Buddha was like the king there, the principal one who gave teachings there. And in that stead, Maitreya Buddha at that time listened to those teachings. But then came the time for Shakyamuni Buddha to descend to this world. This is talking from the perspective of the great vehicle. The time had come for Buddha to come to this world system and turn the wheel of Dharma as a Namanikaya wheel turning Dharma. Buddha, and in that stead, the time Maitreya is the regent, presiding over that Tushita Pure Land, looking after that. So then we visualize Maitreya Buddha from the heart of that Maitreya Buddha, from a white cloud in the nature of white light comes out, and then nestled on that cloud is Lama Tsongkhapa with the two heart suns, the two practitioners, and also surrounded by all other enlightened beings, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. If you can't visualize clearly, 1, 2, 3 as it is laid out, just have very strong faith. They are there. It will be fine.
Tati gulung dinde jik sawa dinde shukre. Tanda sawa, ngarang shi simji tamje, ni jik dikba janjang she, dikba shebe ongi, ane kowa la ne dewe.
Yes.
Diki dikdip jangya la, ane shing kyewa jin jik kogodo, shing kyewa jin la dine, nga zo dikdip jangya dan sunam sogu yore, chezang dele tsok shing sikdo. Yinzang diye chi du, ane jik, da tanda ane jik simji tamje shi, sanje gomba nyu toya shi, dikdip jang kogodo. Dikdip jabe, ane ten kyewa jin, shing kyewa jin la ya, ane pero chi sanbe jik gulung dinde jik ngone, ane ma dinde shube soro chigi na, yago yore siro.
Our motivation should be that sentient beings, due to being consumed with non-virtues, are in the predicament of cyclic existence and going round and round. And in order to purify that, one needs a special field in order to purify and accumulate merit, and that is the merit field. So in short, in order to become a Buddha, one needs to purify, and that is done in dependence on a special field. So what your motivation is, please, you're invoking them, please come to this place.
Aya, da dine tsikdi, thangbo di jam, di nana, di duna, tibdi yagoda.
Tibdi yagoda.
Tibdi.
Thank you.
Nima chije, ni, tsarsum duna, wadina ma, tsoshin sedo. Tila sanje shuzo je doro.
Thangbusan, dine.
Sanje shuzo tsarsum duna, dine di tangdo tsoshin sedo tsarsum duna. Dila di duwe haza.
Tungin namka di soshin so ta right?
No di.
These things sumra. Di dan capture tim sum. So we'll use the book, Guru Puja book, and on page 53 we'll begin with refuge 3 times, then those next 2 verses, and then the invocation verse from the heart of the protector. We'll also do that verse 3 times. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I shall liberate all sentient beings, lead them to enlightenment. I generate purely an enlightened motive. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I shall liberate all sentient beings, to lead them to an enlightened state. I generate purely an enlightened motive. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I shall liberate all sentient beings, to lead them to an enlightened state. I generate purely an enlightened motive. May the surface of the earth in every direction be pure, without even a pebble, as smooth as the palm of a child's hand, naturally polished, as is lapis lazuli. And may all space be completely filled with the material offerings of gods and men, both these set out before me and those mentally created, as a peerless cloud of Samantabhadra's offerings. From the heart of the protector of the 100 deities of the land of joy comes a cloud that resembles a mass of fresh white curd. Omniscient Losong Drakpa, King of the Dharma, together with your sons, I request you to come here now. From the heart of the protector of hundreds of deities of the land of joy comes a cloud that resembles a massive fresh white curd. Omniscient Losong Drakpa, King of the Dharma, together with your sons, I request you to come here now. From the heart of the protector of hundreds of deities of the land of joy comes a cloud that resembles a massive fresh white curd. Omniscient Losong Drakpa, King of the Dharma, together with your sons, I request you to come here now.
Keep
reciting down. O Venerable Gurus, delight, seated on my throne's lotus moon space before me, I request you to remain for hundreds of eons in order to spread the teachings and the supreme field of merit for my mind of faith. Your minds have the intellect that comprehends the full extent of what can be known. Your speech, with its excellent explanations, becomes the air of those of good fortune. Your bodies are radiantly handsome with glory and renown. I prostrate to you, whom to behold, hear, or recall is worthwhile. Pleasing water offerings, various flowers, fragrant incense, light, and scented water, an ocean of actual and visualized cloud-like offerings, I present to you, O supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtues of body, speech, and mind I have accumulated from beginningless time, and especially any transgressions of my 3 vows, I confess again and again with fervent regard from my heart. From the depths of our hearts we rejoice, O protectors, in the great waves of your deeds, you who strove to learn and practice in this degenerate age, and made life meaningful by abandoning the 8 worldly feelings. O holy and venerable Lama, with clouds of compassion that form in the skies of your Dharmakaya wisdom, please release a vast and profound Dharma, precisely in accordance with those to be trained. I dedicate whatever virtues I've ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular the essential teachings of Venerable Losong Drakpa to shine forever. By directing to the fields of Buddha this mandala on a splendid bath of flowers, water, and incense, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and moon. May all sentient beings be led to these pews. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Vidyatayami. I send forth this jewel mandala to you, precious Gurus, by the force of having fervently requested in this way. Hollow rays of white light are emitted from the hearts of the Venerable Father and his 2 sons, the ends of which combine into one and enter the crown of my head. By the white nectar, the colour of milk, that comes through the pathway of the tube of white light, I am cleansed of all sickness, disturbance, non-virtues, obstacles, and their instincts without exception, and my body becomes as pure and as clear as crystal. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of the hordes of demons without exception. And so, Karpa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losong Drakpa, I make request at your feet. Later. Dudu.
Mimi Devi
Chenrezi, Trime Chimpe, Wompo Champe, Dupo Malu Junze Samenta, Kanchin Kepe, Sujin Zonka, Losang Trabe Shala Sowadi, Mimi Devi Chenrezi, Trime Chimpe, Wompo Champe, Dupo Malu Junze Samenta, Kanchin Kepe, Sujin Zonka, Losang Trabe Shala Sowadi, Mimi Devi Chenrezi, Trime Chimpe, Wompo Champe, Dupo Malu Junze Samenta, Kanchin Kepe, Sujin Zonka, Losang Trabe Shala Sowadi, Mimi Devi Chenrezi, Trime Chimpe, Wompo Champe, Dupo Malu Junze Samenta, Kanchin Kepe, Sujin Zonka, Losang Trabe Shala Sowadi, Mimi Devi Chenrezi, Trime Chimpe, Wompo Champe, Dupo Malu Junze Samenta, Kanchin Kepe, Sujin Zonka,
Lozan Trabe Shala So Devs. Da Gom Jabra, Tanda Duna Swashing said of the Nema, never say, do they did Mango Chow Pavanaji Pabra. This is a lunatic. Tadanda Sujigo Maimba, and Suzu Yayunaya, Sedi, the Guardian Jingi, Pamani, Zorju, Simji Tamje, you ten. Hagwardu, and Mikashel, Naza Damada than the door.
Yep.
아니 생기강이 윤조 나자 윤조 근데 동해 윤조 어디저리 도서 미세 dünya 세다 되저게 아니 르기 나자다 심지 동해 도서 파님도 아니 지 다소 삼텐데 삼다나 펜도데 디용으로 인도스체제 하과되네 지 마직 차업하고나시 밥제네 수술률을 마티면 되네 르기 나자당 심지 동해 하과되네 딕딕 와 딕딕스디 쫑 차디게 상어봐
Yep.
아니 배수부트나시 뚜제 장마 차송 텐 심지 근데 믹스마데스 트란시스로
We meditate that from the merit field in the space in front, a shower or rain-like descent of light rays comes down, entering into one's body, but also those of other sentient beings that are surrounding you, the kind Father, Mother, sentient beings of this life who have been so kind to you, some of whom are experiencing sickness physically, some mentally, they're suffering, and you make a special request to the enlightened beings, the merit field, on their behalf to benefit those sicknesses, physical and mental. And then there's a little benefit, isn't there, like that? Then you visualize rain, the rain like nectar that's coming down into your body, pervading it so it purifies all the non-virtues of body and mind. Here, all the faults are being removed, like having a very powerful shower or washing the body, but at the same time, you recite with your mind the mantra.
아니 믹스다 딩기 니 라마 장고가 저기에 추시기와 세던 제가 탐제기 아니 구승토기 진럽 니가 믹스에 아니 먼저 추럽도 남지 동반이 튼신이야 아니 셔럽 니가 쳐와진데 중송 되나요 여러스
Particularly visualizing from the Guru Lama Tsongkhapa in the space in front and enlightened beings. From their body, speech, and mind comes blessings particularly endowing us with the potency to realize emptiness? Specifically that.
Oh yeah, 당조 옥중 단 되는다. 다도 소신 셋업 채나 믹스에 진럽시야 쉬어요다. 옥수 태운데 다 단계 뒤지 가보던데 이네마. 아니 저지 겨다 세단 저 하고 되네. 아마존가 투가래야. 다자도 마셔제 투버시. 다자도 마셔제 투베 투가네 마네. 그래서 트버던데 상당나 야고요. 다 땜베다고 동바 좀 된데 상상서. 근데 공부해야 계정으로 이제 이게 아니 이제 진럽스나래 다 진럽을 삼다는 데 누가 사거든데 마요데 나고나네도 나고 옥수 태운데 어다 누가 진럽데 수고나는 수 테수수 수고 옥디 수고를 레고 잠지네 류지지 류추 담된 요소를 지도 류추 담된 요 류 마데바소를 두서 상마바 란서를 시도야 아니 셈나게 톡바 남다 텐좀 직다 디즈릭 두서 상베 란서 시도 아니 우파 단데 아니 디즈 바 텐송 텐로 옥수 레온데 덴데시아가 누가 아니 진랍 쳐바지 레송 텐제다 독스 우중 공자기나 아니 우중우단 데는 것도 딕딕 장야 옥종도 자네 딕딕 장야 기네 냠네 대용구도라.
Now we are going to combine the breathing exercise with visualization of the merit field so that the blessings coming down in the nature of white light into us. So you're visualizing at the heart of the principal figure, Lama Tsongkhapa, Shakyamuni Buddha. So from his heart, these light rays come down. This is important because Shakyamuni Buddha is the founder of this lineage, the founding teacher. So when you breathe in, the blessings come in like a new potency. The minute that you breathe in and there is that contact with body of the breath, that notion of the body being bound, being solid, disappears. And mentally, any anxiety, fears, and worries are gone, so that when you breathe out, they're dispelled, and one has a fresh potency or blessing by inducing that merit field. So here, you're combining breathing exercise with purification of non-virtue practice.
야, 다 류양 되고 심양 배 장무장장 차제 미세양 등지 네. 지 초지기와 세던 저 구성도 그 진압 조성 탱고레스.
Think now the body is in the nature of bliss, the mind is clean, clear. One has then received the blessings of the enlightened beings in the space in front in the mirror field.
야, 다 우통하지 땅 시버치 엔드 내양서 다 우중 장가 다리 유시자직 상와야 접 유시자직 레슨은 야마 직사버 잡셔스라.
Now, focus on the shorter breaths, the more shallow ones, and once you are aware of that, begin to count the cycles. Breathing in and out is one cycle. We're going to count up to 21 of those, at which time we reverse back down to 1.
yeah, that uk tanga jason shaje. Uk jis ka dugu the ta chite de neve tala ne sugu uk sama sugu na la ba timbe sur ta je no we gran shin shi. Le so santa namsan le ga maro kashela da yungro yona ni or di we gran shin di sim seri gi cha sim di te de an chanju sim ji ngo ju son te. Ta de male na na me wa che je ne. Uk su ten tama de la be su tim je ne. 왜 그런 신심이 가면 요시스 보나 아니 대 chanju 심기 오인 때 뭐가잖아 야 우여랬어
Now, leaving aside the cycles of breath, just following the breath with mind as it dissipates in the body and when it dissolves, being in that vacuity of clear light, that the mind is in the nature of clear and experience. If you don't have that, and that clarity and lucid mind is in the nature of bodhicitta, if you don't have that, some notion of that experience, just have a strong belief that when the breath dissipates in the body, when it dissolves, one's mind is in the nature of light, white light, clear and experiential. That is the entity of bodhicitta.
아야 다 가고 곰tin데기 네 심 상고징을 요테 가고 봐
Now rejoice, I have that potency of kind heart. Rejoice in that.
아야 다 먼저 디 chanju sim 세디 신시하고 나시리 당부 닝지 요나 chanju sim 제게요래 다 닝지로 닝지대 닝지 첨부 닝지 첨부 제와라 아니 당용 빌로 아니 마신 틴딘 틴소 다데 마신 틴딘 틴소스 람산 도마다나 셈제 탐제네 라나 내가 기차네 펜도 첨부 네 타두그 디지털에 펜도 내가보다 타두 칸에 있나다 초 셈제나 땡제 그냥 초고 인자 심지 거린 첨부래 테 디템베고네 네 심지 신리야 이동의 로지 기토문도 따고다 이원 걸로도 따마도나나 동에 태워도 다가 책이 있어야 돼 비지 리그 유스 말이로 이원 태워 로지 발라 안 페조디 수수셈디 페조라 가난고도로 배 가보고도 알아서 부구 파마를 가와다 파메 부를 가와다 아니 수수 도보토몰에 직자월에 여러다 어디나 신기 이원기 로직 껴고 이원 로직월라 안 페조디 수수를 펜도 가지 펜도 전부 인바디 시고야디 어딘데레 디스에 삼무데스 당쇼스 방제 마로
Yeah. The mind of bodhicitta comes from great compassion. If that is produced, then bodhicitta comes compassion, great compassion. Firstly, for that great compassion, we need equanimity, an equal attitude to all beings. Then we need to see them as one's dear mother, and in that sense, kind, and the wish to repay their kindness. Such points won't come at once in one's insight, but just to recall in a temporal sense how sentient beings have benefited you, and also in an ultimate sense how they will do so. Here, mainly one is recalling how kind sentient beings have been to one. Because the important point is to have this Yonginampa, this sense of being close to sentient beings and seeing them as attractive. Because without this notion of feeling close to sentient beings and seeing them as attractive, you won't have the thought to remove their suffering. So one needs to cultivate this sense of warmth, this affectionate regard for sentient beings, as parents would have for their children, as friends would have for each other. So the best way to cultivate that warm affection is by recalling their kindness.
That's tili simji dine pachi. Tamje susula pendo chenpo yin chenpo di shewore. Pendo chenpo reni redera.
And then being aware of those beings close to you and thinking how they have benefited you. They have, right?
Oh yeah, that is shallow.
Dedicate this session.
Page 31 for the short mandala. Sashi